This video was made possible by G2PO and Gamersgate.com. Download games anytime, anywhere. Skip it up and that up! Bioshock Infinite. It's been hyped, it's been praised, but does it suck? Let's find out. Bioshock Infinite has you walk in the shoes of Booker DeWitt, a guy who has accrued a huge gambling debt, and the only way he could pay it back is by kidnapping the woman Elizabeth and giving her unharmed to the people he's in debt to. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But it sure as hell is not. The storyline in Bioshock Infinite is beautifully crafted, well acted, and well paced. And the ending, it'll just blow your mind. It blew mine. Hype aside, the story of Bioshock Infinite is incredible, and even if you're not a gamer, watch a friend of yours that is a gamer, or watch your husband or watch your wife play the game just to get a good grasp of the story. It's worth it, trust me. So Bioshock Infinite is a Bioshock game for a reason. It still is Bioshock and feels like a Bioshock sequel. Instead of your special abilities being called plasmids this time around, they're called vigors. They have ones that allow you to make machines friendly towards you, which they had in the other Bioshock installments. They have a vigor that allows you to throw flesh-eating crows at your enemies, and they have another one that lets you levitate your enemies in the air so you can just spray a whole round of bullets at them. Pretty useful. The weapon selection is pretty much your typical fare. You have shotguns, machine guns, pistols, and there are a couple interesting ones like the volley gun, which lets you shoot this kind of bouncing grenade that does a pretty good amount of damage. So I'm gonna be real with you folks. If you love the first Bioshock and second Bioshock, you're gonna love Bioshock Infinite. If you didn't like Bioshock 1 and 2, you're probably not gonna like Bioshock Infinite. It's the same style game, but it's a sequel. More of the same, which to me was a really good thing. So when it comes to fun factor and pacing, Bioshock Infinite is pretty damn good. 90% of the time, you're having a blast. But it has to be said, and no one else has talked about it, there are some fights in the game and battles that just get repetitive. There's one that I'm not going to say exactly what happens, because it's somewhat of a spoiler, that you have to deal with the same exact boss battle in 3 different scenarios 3 different times. And it's a pretty tedious boss battle, and I'm just thinking to myself, why am I fighting this same enemy that I killed twice already, another time, 3 different times? I had to take this boss down. I'm trying to find better words to use, but I don't want to spoil anything and give anything away. Like I said, most of the time, the pacing of enemy fights and everything like that is great. You're looking forward. It's really fun to take down enemies and use your vigors, so on and so forth. But there are certain moments where it's just the battles get tedious, and I think they just added them in there for filler to make the game longer. It's a really fun game, but there are certain parts where they could have definitely cut the fat and streamlined the single-player campaign. Okay, kids, I'm gonna let you in on a secret that you may not know. Bioshock Infinite is friggin' beautiful. Duh. It's not a graphical tour de force where you're going to need to have a GTX Titan in your computer. You know, it's not going to blow you away with super sharp textures, so on and so forth. But the art design, the city in the sky, Columbia, it's the most gorgeous game, personally to me, that I have ever seen. I could easily say that without hesitating. The only complaint I had, and I just thought of this now, is that some of the character animations, not Elizabeth, because she looks like a Disney movie. The animations they did with her character are amazing, but like some of the secondary characters you see throughout the game are just like there's a scene in the beginning of the game, if I have the footage I'll show it, where there's a woman playing a banjo, and in the crowd there's a woman watching her, and they're both the same character, same face, same everything. But besides for that, the attention to detail is second to none. And what a talented group of people over at Irrational Games. When you put this, even in the console, it looks good on the consoles. That's another thing I want to talk about. This game, I have both the PS3 and PC version. I bought the PS3 version because I'm going to do a graphics comparison video. And on top of it, I wanted to support the developer because the PC version I got was a review copy. I didn't have to pay for that one because I'm reviewing the game. PS3, I have to say the frame rate's pretty solid, man. I played through the entire game on the PS3. The footage you're seeing right now is from the PS3, and I don't even think once. The only time I think it dipped below 30 frames per second is when Booker's, in the rocket going up to Columbia. You see where when you first see Columbia, it gets kind of choppy. But the game, there were some times when I turned frame rate VSync off in the PS3 version where it would hit like 60 frames per second. So they did an excellent job with at least the PS3 and PC versions of the game. However, it has to be said that if you have the choice between the console and PC version, even if you have a mid-range gaming PC or an entry-level gaming PC, get the PC version. The butter smooth frame rate, the sharper textures make the game a lot more playable. And it's not just from a visual standpoint. That super smooth frame rate makes Bioshock Infinite a lot more fun. If you only have a choice of getting the console version, get it. The PS3 version ran fantastic. Like I said, most of the footage you're looking at right now is from the PS3 version. But if you have a choice, get the PC version. It's even more stunning and playable on the PC. What a swan song for the current generation of consoles to go out on. I mean, Bioshock Infinite is not perfect. I said there's some parts in the game where the gameplay gets a little repetitive. Some of the character animations aren't perfect, but generally as a whole, this game is a masterpiece. It still is fun as hell. The story is powerful and mind-blowing. The relationship between Booker and Elizabeth is unique and really draws you in. I had such a I can't wait to play the game again. I hope I could find time to play through Bioshock Infinite again so I could wrap my mind more so around the story and just enjoy and embrace Columbia. You need to do yourself a favor, even if you are a casual gamer who plays 1 or 2 games a year. It's even though there's only a single player campaign in Bioshock Infinite, pick up this game. It's an experience that you will never forget. It's one of those games that I'm going to look back on 10 years from now and want to just pick up and play again. Just like Castlevania is to me. I love the Castlevania series. Bioshock Infinite especially has now put itself on the same pedestal with the Castlevania series to me, and that's saying something because I love Castlevania. Pick up this game. It's worth getting at full price for either PC or console. Like, run now and get it. You're missing out if you do not play this game. This is Rich at Review Tech USA signing out. What a fantastic experience was playing Bioshock Infinite. Have a good one.
You remember so